All right, welcome back to the Krueger Show. Giants losers at Citi Field to the Mets. Hope everybody's having a good day. 6-2 was the final as the Mets get 3 out of 4 from the Giants in New York. Giants got swept in the doubleheader, and then today lose the final game. What do you think, Ryan? It was kind of a weird game today. Mets, the Giants had done something really well this year, pitching wise. They've been keeping the ball in the yard.
Yep.
They don't give up the home runs. And when you don't give up the home runs, you don't give up quick runs, and you give your defense a chance to help you. In this game, the Mets went deep, couple home runs, I think, and the Giants had gone 307 batters without giving up a home run. So that, to me, has been one of the keys to their success in the early going. And, New York, it's funny. It's like you look at the National League, who's good? It's like the Dodgers, the Giants, maybe the Mets, maybe the Braves, maybe Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I mean, who knows? There might be some surprise team from the rest of the league, but it's not a great league, and the Mets are one of the better teams. And Scherzer looked awesome in his start in this series. Just kind of a tough series for the Giants, and the road trip continues now on to DC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this is one you just you got to put behind you. I mean, looking at the box score lines up with exactly what I just watched on television. I mean, we got Belt 0 for 4, Ruff 0 for 4, Jock 0 for 4. Belt and Jock have been leading the charge, kind of carrying this offense. No walks, no hits between them. Crawford 0 for 3. Eight in the 8th spot in the order. Duggar and Dubon combined 0 for 3. Casali 0 for 3. Overall 4 for 31 with no walks today.
Wow,
that's not going to get it done.
No. Couple bright spots. Yaz is looking pretty good.
Yep.
He homered in the 8th inning. It was a no doubter. So that was good to see. Tyro Estrada's playing good ball. He had an RBI single to right in the 2nd inning for the Giants in this game, and he just looks like a force at the plate. And then, I would say the other positive today, a couple positives, the last couple days, or in this series, I should say, the Giants have kind of discovered Junior Marte. And Junior Marte pitched in AAA for the Giants last year, right-hander. Man, his stuff is pretty nasty. It really is. I mean, throws a real tight breaking ball and throws it for strikes, seems to have command with it. And then he's bringing it up there mid-90s, 95, 96. So when you got a tight breaking ball and a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, those are two put-you-away kind of pitches. And he walked a couple today, but didn't allow a run, struck out one in his 1 inning. Looked good earlier in the series as well. I thought he was impressive. Tyler Beede, looked decent. I mean, his stuff at times I thought looked pretty good today. So I don't know what they're going to do with Beede, but I like Junior Marte, right? I think he might be a guy that they, another bullpen arm. They kind of just, the one thing about the Giants is they have exceptional bullpen depth. And Junior Marte, I was not banking that he would be a guy for them this year, but he looks like he could be a very effective right-handed reliever to go along with Leon. And, it's they have some really good lefty relievers, but now having another righty and with Doval and of course now Marte, you've got two really electric arm guys. And I thought they would call up Kervin Castro first, but Marte gets the first call, but Castro's down at AAA. He'll eventually be called up at some point. So, the one thing about the Giants is they're loaded in the pen. They may not have a closer that's like, elite everyday kind of closer. They're kind of do it by committee. But man, I really love the bullpen depth they have. They can run out a bunch of effective relievers, and it seems like a never-ending parade of guys.
Yeah, I mean, you totally flipped me on we were talking about this the other day when I kind of threw the question out, like, do you think that they're going to kind of give Doval a long leash and, maybe try and mold him into that, everyday, elite closer? And I think you're totally, the way you responded, you're totally right. I mean, I love having the deep bullpen. I love being able to mix all these guys in there. We have so many different kinds of dudes coming out of the bullpen. So yeah, I mean, Marte was a bright spot for sure. I mean, what do you think of DeSclafani? He was okay in his last start. I really liked him last year. I haven't really been trusting him this year. Just, eye
No,
test.
I mean, I think to me he's their fifth starter.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a, I mean, I like him. His stuff's above average, big league arsenal. But 5 innings, he have 9 hits today, 5 earned runs. Only walked the one, struck out 4. His stuff looks like his stuff from a year ago. He got off to a real hot start last year, I believe. I like DeSclafani, but to me, if you could have one more starter and you could limit his starts to like 15 to 20 starts, I think he would be better. I like him kind of on a championship caliber team. I think DeSclafani should be your long man who takes like 12 to 15 starts. If he's your fifth starter, you're not quite, maybe you may be a step below that championship caliber. If he's your fourth or third or second starter, you're probably just a middle of the road type team. If he's your ace, you're probably a last place team. I mean, he's a decent. He throws mid 90s. He's got multiple pitches. He seems like he's best when he's fresh. He really had a hard time last year beating the Dodgers, but then fired a pretty big effort late in the year against them. So I don't know. He's gutty. He doesn't beat himself for the most part. He'll attack hitters in the zone. So I can, the other thing I've really liked in this series, I liked what I saw from Brebbia. They went to Brebbia last night, and Brebbia just comes in throwing strikes. I mean, he's just filling up the strike zone. Strike 1, strike 2. He's aggressive. He has command. We're in an era, Rye, where everybody's so in love with the 99-mile-an-hour reliever, and what's not to like. But you forget that if you throw 94, but you have command, man, at the big league level, especially in the middle innings, that can help you play winning baseball because you're not walking guys and creating middle of the game rallies with a bunch of walks. And we see every team in the big league seemingly has a couple relievers who do exactly that. Giants, for the most part, don't have that guy. And Brebbia, I like what Brebbia showed. He is a strike thrower out of the pen who you can go to in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and he can steal some outs. He works fast. He throws strikes. So I thought that was a real positive. The negative today, of course, is Steven Duggar, who hasn't been able to get it going offensively, hitting 194, also left in the second inning with an oblique. And those things suck. I mean, that sucks. I mean, the oblique could be weeks. It could be weeks. And, already J Hutch 91 weighing in on the text on the chat says, I hope they call up Ramos with Duggar going on the injured list. Sean says, don't think Ramos will come up. They need a lefty to replace Duggar, in his opinion. So where's Lamont Wade in this mix? Is he ready to come back? And then Hutch comes back with, we really need late night Lamont. There's no question. There's no question.
Also, to clean something up, Larry, the other day we were talking about the possibility of La Stella coming back, and right. I think I said Kawhi Leonard with a similar thing. You know what it was? It was KD in that last playoffs with the Warriors. Remember, it was the calf, slight Achilles, and then he tried to give it a go, and the Achilles popped.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I look at La Stella, who I really like as a player, gamer player, good hitter, sees a ton of pitches, knows the strike zone, underrated power. I really like him as a player, but yeah, I fear the Giants. I don't know how much you can really depend on him. That's the negative at second base. The positive is Thairo Estrada looks like he could play every day.
I trust him so much.
Yeah,
already. Weirdly,
I do too. Estrada really, really looks good. Matthew Mears says, we lost 3 out of 4 to the Mets. The season is over.
Season's over.
Season's over.
Here,
everybody go home.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Call it a wrap.
Larry, I've got this is a little bit interesting. So I'm going to choose to look at this positively.
Right.
The bullpen these past 6 games has really been taxed. And you know what? We've either won or we've been in still all of these games. Let me run this down. So, today, DeSclafani goes 5. Okay. He gives us 5. Rodon was excellent yesterday, but he only gave us 5. Webb, 3 innings basically. Cobb, 4 innings. Wood, 5 innings. DeSclafani's last outing, 4 innings. So like we've been putting a lot of stress on the bullpen, and they've been. I totally agree with what you're saying about Brebbia, because I remember him. I remember not necessarily being the super comfortable with him out there, but he's looked great this year. He really has.
Oh, last year he just didn't,
He didn't have
they
it.
kept going to him, but he wasn't fooling anybody, and he just never could. I don't think he had the command. I don't think he had the stuff. His stuff looks better this year, crisper. He's more in the zone. He seems like he can just attack the zone. Last year it seemed like his stuff was lacking, and like he had to work off the corners, and then he struggled at times walking guys. Um, Giants Nationals begin the series tomorrow in DC. It'll be interesting to see, against, the one, by the way, this today made it the first series that the Giants have lost
Yep.
this year. They basically won every other series to start the year. Now they go to DC against a Nationals team that's really easily the worst team in the NL East, and the Giants should make hay. It's Wood and Corbin tomorrow. The one thing with the Nationals, if you run into them and they've got Corbin or Strasburg on the mound, they're still could be formidable. But that's a series the Giants should have their way. They should go to DC and do real well.
Yeah, if we take two out of three from DC, then we're 6-4 on the road trip. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. You're going with the whir, huh? Look at you. You're going with the whir?
The were? Wait, what?
Yeah, you're going with the like we. You're going. You're going
Oh,
with the.
yeah. We.
Okay, all right, all
Yeah.
right. Just want making sure. I never feel comfortable going with the we. I still go with the they.
We.
J Hutch 91. Once the season gets going, our starting pitchers get to midseason form. Watch out. Then they can start throwing 6-7 innings and get some into the eighth. I look at it this way: you have a 28-man roster. You have Tyler Beatty, you have Sammy Long, you have an incredibly deep bullpen. You know what? Use them. Go to them. These guys pitch a lot in spring training, and then spring training ends, and they sit around sometimes. It's a long year. It's a long year. Now, if you have a starter who's cruising, forget your game plan and just let him cruise. But I don't, especially with Rodon. I want to keep Rodon fresh. I want to keep DeSclafani fresh. I want to keep Logan Webb fresh. I mean, they don't have the kind of horses that you can just say, oh yeah, these guys are going 230 innings, and these guys are 200 inning guys for sure, and these guys work into the eighth or ninth. It's not Scherzer, it's not Kane in his prime or Bumgarner. It's not. They're different. These are guys that have to be managed, and their workload has to be managed. I mean, think about it. If the Giants can manage the workload of Logan Webb and Carlos Rodon and somehow get into October,
Oof.
that's going to be a really exciting proposition to have those two guys who both are nasty, and they're both like pseudo number ones, and you're going to have both those guys potentially, just in a playoff series, game one, game two. So I like the Giants' chances with Webb and Rodon, or Rodon and Webb in game one and game two. So I like the idea of you got a lead. Rodon's gone 5. You need 12 outs. I agree totally with what Kapler did last night. Get him out.
Get him out.
Get him out. Limit his innings. Limit his exposure, especially early in the year. Especially when you go to like places like New York and Cleveland, where it's 30 degrees, it's 40 degrees. Don't burn these guys out in April, making them pitch 95 pitches in 35 degrees. Let them, when they're loose and it's St. Louis and it's in July and and it's huge humidity and you want to let him go because he's all warmed up. Okay, that's one thing, but don't test your starters in cold weather by extending their innings in April when you're going to run a marathon. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So I like what Kapler's doing. He's been leaning on his pen, and I think it's the right move. If you get Rodon healthy, could you imagine? Giants haven't had a dominant starter like Rodon, it seems like. Gausman, there's something about Gausman in the second half of the year. Once LA showed that if you just sit fastball and lay off his split, he couldn't throw the splitter for a strike. It had so much break and so much I mean, the Gosman breaking ball fell like 3 feet, but he didn't, as he got tired, he lost touch with that pitch and he couldn't throw the breaking ball for strikes. So they would just basically sit on the fastball and just dare him to throw his breaking ball for strikes. You could see that approach second half of the year. I think the Dodgers took that approach in a game, and then literally the advanced reports got around on Gosman in the second half of the year, and we saw other teams do it as well, just laying off that hard breaking ball, daring him to throw it in the strike zone, because a guy like Gosman really lives throwing that pitch in the dirt and having you swing over the top of it. And in the first half of the year, he got hitters to consistently swing over the top of it. And when he was fresher, he was throwing that pitch for strikes. And then you mix in the mid 90s, high 90s fastball, and he was overpowering. Second half of the year, they kind of found him out.
Yeah.
And he kind of, I heard him do an interview. I think it was in July, maybe August. In the interview, Rye, he's like, yeah, they kind of know what I'm doing now. They kind of found me out. I mean, it was like he was like basically admitting that, this is his secret, sauce, and they have the recipe now. And he wasn't all that effective the rest of the year. I mean, he had some effective innings, but not nearly like we saw in the first half of the year. I mean, really, Logan Webb was their best guy.
Remember that? Remember the first half when he was cruising. I remember that.
Cruising.
How about that matchup versus Ohtani? That I remember. I was like, oh my God, this Gosman guy.
Yeah.
What? We got an ace. But do you think it had, I don't want to speculate, but
sticky stuff?
Yeah, you think maybe a little has something to do with it?
That's a great question, because I never compared his spin rates before the rules got changed. I don't know, but
there was talk about it.
There was he was one of those guys with, well, I don't know. Actually, I'm not even sure where Gosman is on the spin rate. I'm gonna double check that. Yeah, I really don't know where Gosman was. Was he a big? I know it for a guy like Trevor Bauer, and for some of the Dodger pitchers, Walker Buehler. I think that some of those guys definitely were impacted by the fact they were checking everybody. Now it seems like they've dialed it back. Now they used to check everybody's glove and everything. Now it's like they just look at your hand, like show me your hand. And they like touch like right in between the thumb and the index finger, and then all of a sudden they're like, you're good. Doesn't seem like it's the check of the pitchers seems it's very fast these days.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Tonight, let's fast forward to tonight, because not only do we have Giants going on today, Giants now on to DC, but tonight we have Game 3, Warriors Nuggets. Warriors up 2-0. What do you think? What are we going to see tonight from Denver? Is Michael Malone having an adjustment to make, or is this going to be Golden State in 4, and you're expecting another dominant performance? What's the number tonight? What's the
spread ski?
Yeah, what's the spread in Warriors Nugs?
Check it out. I would get I'm gonna guess Warriors -1. That's my guess. We got Warriors -2. Warriors
-2. Well, based on the first 2 games, how could you not take that?
Yeah, but you know what? This is why I was.
Do you think Denver bounces back at home?
I think they do. I mean, look what's happened across the league. I mean, the Bucks just lost to the freaking. We wrote that off as a sweep, 100%.
Bulls,
to the Bulls at home. Suns lost at home to the Pelicans. They're gonna get one. I mean, the series is over if they.
I don't know. It's weird. Golden State's playing at a weird level right now.
Yeah, I want to see if Poole is the same Poole on the road, and they do this for a 3rd game in a row. I think it's starting to get a little scary. I think it might be final season. I mean, Booker now out a couple of weeks. Middleton, I don't know if Middleton's probably not going to be back for this Bulls series. There's contenders going down left and right.
Well, it's interesting. The number that I saw today that jumped out to me, through 2 games, Denver's taking only 9.3% of their shots at the rim. That's least of any team in the entire playoffs. 57% of their shots are in the mid-range. That's the most in the playoffs. we know Jokic is a mid-range monster, but man, it kind of shows. You add Draymond Green to the mix, and suddenly, even though he's a 6'6" player with long arms, he's totally taken away the middle against Denver. And
Well,
Denver has, they're not getting anything at the rim.
I totally agree, and I think it's going to be what's going to be very telling is how this game is whistled at the very beginning. Because I think what Jokic is pissed about is, a lot of this stuff would have been foul calls during the regular season, and now it's playoffs, and that's just how it is. They don't call as many ticky tack fouls, and like you're saying, they're not getting many shots at the rim. I mean, Looney, whether it's Looney or Draymond, they are pushing Jokic out of the key. They're trying to get him to touch the ball at the top of the key. They don't want him to touch the ball close to the basket. And I mean, I think a lot. If I'm Jokic, and I heard Shaq talking about this, and even as a guy who's 6'5" and played high school basketball, there is something so annoying and frustrating about being the bigger guy, where you've got the littler guy like Draymond who can use 100% of his strength. But if Jokic uses 100% of his strength, it's going to, Draymond's going to go flying and they're going to call a foul on Jokic. So it's like Jokic is allowed to kind of be beat up because he's so much bigger and he can withstand it. And I think that's kind of what's frustrating him.
It's funny, Jokic's offensive game, when he passes, he's a thing of beauty. But his offensive game is just so ugly. I mean, you know what I mean? He it's like he's twisting and he's turning and it's all free form and it's genius, but it's ugly. It's just like, I'm going to back you in and just kind of keep pivoting and pivoting and pivoting until I can just kind of lay it in. He'll throw the ball up from weird angles. He doesn't, he's got a number of shots throughout the game. And you're like, man, that was ugly. And a lot of them go, you're like, he'll take ugly shots and you're like, hey, it went. So he's a weird player. He's an incredibly talented player. He's one of maybe the greatest passing big. I mean, I was thinking maybe the best passing big men I've seen. I mean, Vlade and Weber with the Kings were pretty incredible as a passing duo for sure. But man, watching Jokic find guys, I'll tell you that to me is one of the big parts of this series as well, is that Golden State has not, first of all, Jokic has not been able to find guys. They've D'd him up well, but Denver doesn't have that secondary scorer. Yeah. So even when he does find guys, they're not knocking those shots down. So if you look at his assist totals, if he had a better surrounding cast, if you were playing with Murray, if you were playing with a couple sharpshooters, Jokic would be, 4 or 5 more assists. But he's got nobody to pass it to. You can pass it to Will Barton. That I don't know. I kind of like Golden State tonight. I think I'd rather bet Golden State than bet Denver tonight.
Yeah.
The other thing, did you see this quote from Austin Rivers? Said this
earlier in the year.
No, this is from today. He said, or from last night. He said, or this week. Draymond has really been hurting us. People aren't really noticing that. Draymond has really hurt us. He's just controlling tempo. He's getting them all these shots. He's beating up Joke. So I don't know if I'm Jokic, if I want to hear that from from Austin Rivers. But that aside, I think Rivers is totally right.
Do you see what Malone said? Sorry. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Do you see what Malone said about the Warriors, half Warriors fans? Yeah. Oh, God.
What is that? It's like, dude, what was that? I mean, why would you do that? Why would you? What? I mean, what advantage as a coach do you have in saying, you know what, place is going to be filled with half Warrior fans tonight anyway? Sounds awful.
Yeah. What is that his motivation tactic, is just to kind of be like, oh, we don't have a chance. Nobody believes in us. Not even our own home crowd believes in us type thing.
I don't know. I don't know what the theory is, but what, I guess shame people into not selling their tickets to Warrior fans. It is amazing. The Warriors, you can kind of tell. The Warriors are they're the popular kid in school. They're like the, they're the kid everybody likes. It's like they go to Minneapolis. I mean, kids everywhere want to be Steph, and there's so many Warrior jerseys. And heck, I saw a couple Warrior jerseys at church on Easter Sunday. Seriously, it's Easter Sunday. Person's in line for communion. Warrior jersey on.
Wait, you know what? Honestly, everyone always talks about, oh man, Steph ruined the game for these, younger guys, and you go to the Y now, and everyone's just chucking threes. I've been playing a little pickup basketball, and I gotta say, I think that a little bit of the Warriors, like, I've never played pickup until recently, where everybody's moving and everybody's cutting and everybody's like looking for the extra pass to get the three, and it's just like, whoa. Like, this is kind of cool. This is not what I was expecting. Yeah, there's a lot of threes, but people are trying to whip it around.
You guys running the motion offense at the Y?
Oh, right. It's crazy. It's fun. Yeah.
Movement off the ball. Could you imagine if you're telling some guy in a pickup game, hey, look, move off the ball, pass and cut. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. We work on the offensive end. Let's get the high percentage shot. It is interesting. The shot that is amazing me so far in this series is the unbelievable jump back on the Jordan Poole step back three.
That corner one was insane.
He jumps. He jumps like 3.5 feet. It looks like a triple jumper or a long jumper. I mean, he covers some serious ground on his jump back.
That one in the corner was like, I guess I've seen Steph kind of do that, but he was like in line for like a 12-footer, and it was like boom, like, and all of a sudden he's at the 3-point line, drain.
Unbelievable. I like Golden State. I like Golden State tonight. I think this is after, yes, I like Denver at the beginning of the series. But man, Denver's gassed. They're not, they'll be back home, but even so, I mean, they're going to put a big first quarter run on. To me, I don't see the arsenal. I think it's a bad matchup for the Nuggets because think about it. What can the Nuggets secondary scorer, whoever it is going to be, whether it's Aaron Gordon, Will Barton, whoever it's going to be on their team as their second leading scorer, what's the most they can typically get? I would say like 12, maybe 15.
Yeah, I mean,
16.
like Barton had like 25, but that was like all garbage time that first game.
But I mean, as the secondary scorer, I think, you can take him away to a degree where I think they don't, I don't see it where you look at Golden State, Steph, Poole, Clay, right now they're all churning. The other guy is Green, and he's playing at such a high level right now. It's just hard to beat the Warriors if Draymond's going to play at that high of a level, and they've got Clay back, Steph back, deep bench, and Jordan Poole playing like an all-star to be. Let's welcome in Dan Coachemilio. What's up, Dan? How are you?
Hey, good, Larry. How you doing, Ryan?
Well, we started off talking Giants, and then we're talking a little Warriors, little preview for tonight. But
yeah, I flipped my Warriors hat on. I was watched the Giants game and had a lot to add to it. Let me turn the TV down. I was watching you guys on the YouTube over there. So
what did you think of the game today?
See, there you guys are live on the big screen.
Let's see. Oh, look at that!
Wow,
oh, man,
meta.
Look at that, Dan Coachemilio's man cave.
Turn the volume off there so we don't get any reverb. Hold on, let me see if I got that off.
Look at that. You're a veteran of the game now.
Yeah. Hey, Larry, real quick, how about KD? KD being put in a body bag these past couple games. I mean,
his mom is freaking out.
Well, you know what? It's
yelling at the officials.
Oh yeah. And I think that there's a lot of kind of salty Warriors fans, especially on the internet, that are like, hey, KD, like, you realize that you did, like, this was happening to Steph even when you were here. He was getting doubled, and people were staying with him at all times, and you were getting wide open Jays. Now you're playing a good team with good team defense that actually, knows what they're doing, and they're blitzing you, and they're keeping one with you at all times, and he looks frazzled.
Oh, Boston's suffocating defense. They just the number one ranked defense, and they're scary.
Williams and he's
Ranger 44 guy says KD gonna call Draymond, please take me back. Could you imagine that? So Danny, before we get to your Warrior thoughts on the game tonight, pivotal game 3 for the Nuggets. I think it's in some ways Nuggets' last stand, but we'll get to that in just a second. What'd you think of this series? The first Giant series loss. Duggar went out with the oblique today. Give me your quick rundown on the Giants on the road.
Yeah, definitely should have won game one of the series in the doubleheader, and the one they won last night should have been a split.
Got a bad call on that play at first base that could overturn
very bad
phantom
call.
overturn call there.
That cost them definitely in the 10th inning. So, it's just unfortunate, but overall, on the road trip, what are they now? 3-3. So they got
4-3, I believe.
Wait, let's see. They won.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah, 4-3. 4-3, right?
Yeah,
4-3. So they got 4 left: 3 in Washington, 1 in Milwaukee.
What's up with that one in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's just a fill-in game because it was. They had the season.
Are they getting some beer or stopping off?
Well, they were scheduled to start the season in San Diego and then go to Milwaukee for 3. So what they did is they've got they moved the Milwaukee series to later in the year to fit it in, and they were going to have a double hitter there. I think I can't remember what month it is, June, July, whatever. They go back there, but they didn't want
to do the double headers. This is their way of avoiding the double header.
Well, they would have had 2 double hitters. They would have had 2 days back-to-back double hitters, which baseball's not going to do.
Yeah.
So they fit this game in. As they moved the San Diego series to the 3 days later, they extended the season. So they're now playing the last 3 of the year in October in San Diego. So
overall, I was saying to Rye that I loved in this series Junior Marte.
Yeah,
that another right-handed reliever is truly nasty. I like seeing that. I like the fact that Marte looks like he's got a major league arsenal. I mean, he was throwing high 90s. He had a really tight breaking ball. He looked really good. Then we were also on the downside. We were talking about losing Steven Duggar to the oblique, and that one hurts because he's easily your best defensive outfielder. But maybe we'll see Ramos, and that's probably a good thing.
We could see Ramos.
Some people think they're going to be a lefty.
I was suggesting on Twitter to Alex Pavlik. I saw a tweet about it, but then they went ahead. I said, why don't they release Jalen Davis? Because he's never going to make it up, and when he does, he's always hurt. And they've got Ramos, and they've got the other guys in the pipeline. So why don't they go ahead and release Davis and add Luis Gonzalez to the 40-man?
He looked good in spring.
And he's hitting 889 OPS down in Sacramento with 3 home runs early on. So he's hitting the ball well. He plays center field. He's a lefty. I think personally he's better than Duggar as a hitter.
Oh, he's definitely better than Duggar as a hitter.
And so I would have done that, but they made this trade today and released Davis already. So I had the right idea of releasing Davis to bring up, put another guy on the 40, but they've got some pitcher they bought for cash from the Cubs, a reliever, and they're going to.
Do you remember the name? I didn't see this one. I was doing a conference call earlier this morning. I didn't see the transaction.
Hadn't heard the guy. I'd have to look back on Twitter, which I'm on my phone now, and I'd lose that. But look it up.
See if you can find it, Rye. See if you can find it. Maybe we can.
Corey Abbott.
That's it. Yeah, Corey Abbott. Don't know much about
I'll say
him.
this. We've all learned enough from Farhan to know that never just sign off on any of his additions as just a nobody. I mean, seriously, I remember, Tyro Estrada didn't get, I mean, think about Yaz, Flores. I mean, you name it. I don't know that he's had a move really where you see people said, whoa, he's had a lot of no-name moves where you're like, you know what? That looked pretty good. Zach Littell and others that they've gotten for nothing.
He's also picked up guys and then immediately DFA'd them to see if he can sneak them through waivers and get them off and open up a 40-man roster spot. So with Duggar going down, it's a possibility if they want a left-handed bat in the outfield. Gonzalez would be the guy that could be here, in a day or two, but they have to add him to the 40. If they're not going to go with a left-handed bat, the natural guy to bring up would be Ramos. But they're facing a bunch of righties, and I hate it when they just bring him up and sit him.
He's a right-handed hitter.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I get the lefty, but I don't get the righty. I don't.
Yeah, because 75% of the people that are right-handed,
Right.
and guys that played ball, for years and years, there was no platooning. Guys, Mays, all the guys that played, even Johnny Disaster played against righties.
Bones. That's
Bones.
before Rise time.
Yeah.
Johnny the Master, tall shortstop, very high cut shortstop. He could pick it though, man.
Oh,
He's probably about 6'5".
I think he was about 6'2". I think. Really.
Was he?
He only weighed about 130.
Oh,
he was looked like Tyler
great
Rogers.
Defensive player. Great defensive player.
Yeah, very skinny, but he wasn't. But the other thing is they pitched Beatty today for 2 innings.
Yeah, what'd you think of him?
He looked okay. I mean, he had a great call. I think he got somebody. Escobar struck him out looking, I think, on a nice sinker. And he's got great stuff. He just got to get command. If he can control where he wants the ball to go, he's got some of the best stuff on the entire team. He just needs innings. He needs to get some innings going under him. And I was thinking they were going to hold him, as we talked to Marty the other night, I thought that we'd see him Saturday night. We could see him as an opener possibly still. Tomorrow. They said Wood. They pushed Wood back to Saturday. So tomorrow they need a starter. And Jelly is not ready because he pitched Tuesday in Sacramento. It won't be Beatty. It might be Sam Long tomorrow. Here's what I would love to see. I looked at the standings yesterday. Cincinnati's 2-11, and they're going nowhere. And they've already sold all their guys, traded away.
Here we go. What are you cooking up? What do you got?
I'm cooking up a deal. He's in rehab.
I see the trade market starting to brew.
Yeah.
Coach Emilio's cooking something up.
I want pitching.
What's coming, Danny? What do you got for us?
I want pitching, and I like Luis Castillo, who used to be a Giant. He was brought up as a Giant. He's got nasty stuff. He's on rehab or having a rehab assignment this weekend, I read. But there's a guy, I was watching DeSclafani. I watched him earlier in the year. Man, if he doesn't spot his pitches, he's meat. I mean, he comes in with a flat.
There's not a lot of deception there. Not a lot of deception there.
Yeah, and I'm kind of not really liking what I'm seeing from him. And you can never have enough starters. I'm not saying DeSclafani can't give you some good games. I mean, but if he's not on, he's getting rocked. But right now he's not having very good command of where he wants to put the ball, and he's grooving pitches right down the center of Broadway.
Guys, we have a text here from Matthew Mears. He says, "Got to run. Keep the good content coming, Larry." So let's all say goodbye to Matthew. Bye, Matthew. Take it easy.
Bye, Matthew.
Hey, bye, Matt.
See you later, man. Thanks for hanging out.
So,
Matthew Mears, everybody.
Yeah, I really want to see more and more pitching because that's going to be the strength. And, I think when Wade comes back in a couple of weeks and LaStella, that's going to take care of a lot of things. And Yaz is starting to pick it up. The one bright spot out of –
Hey, that was nice. Yaz looked good. Yaz,
I mean, they lost 3 out of 4, but he raised his average, 100 points, close to 100 points in this series?
Well, it's early. Small sample size.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, he's at least he's hitting the ball with some authority the last few games.
I want your rundown on Warriors, but before I do, let me mention our sponsors. The irony of that, I'm moving Dan aside so we can talk about the sponsors. But first, let's tell you about Telmetrics.co. I was just trading texts yesterday with the great Casey Bateman, and if you're an orthopedic surgeon, an occupational therapist, a chiropractor, or a physical therapist, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. So Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in clinical and telehealth environments. Using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So if you have sports injuries, if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist, make sure you go to telmetrics.co Telmetrics.co. And we thank all the people at Telmetrics.co for being a sponsor of the Krug Show. And of course, we want to mention our other sponsor. Man, who is that guy? The guy looks up. Wait a second. That guy, I've seen that guy somewhere, and it's a familiar face. It really is. No, that's Dan Cochimilio, who's with us right now. And he's a retirement planning specialist, securemoney.com. Danny, since you're here, I mean, I could tell people about you and say that you're a great guy. I could say 925-628-9966. I could sit there and go securemoney.com and talk about things in my own words, but tell people what you do and what if they call your number or go to your website and set up an appointment to sit down with you, what's that process going to be like?
Yeah, well, let me first put on my glasses so I look smart.
I'm not using that guy. Oh, look how intelligent that guy is. He is unbelievably intelligent.
Well, I gotta see myself when I take these readers off. I can't even see the screen. But
I'm not using. Oh, hey, wait a second.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Well, what I do.
By the way, if you hear that buzzing in the background, in the home studio here, my neighbor, sometimes we've been feuding for quite a while. So when he knows I'm on the air, he will bring his blower and sander and anything that, he's sanding to the center of the mantle of the earth, or he's digging or something, trenching or something. So that buzzing that you may hear in the background, my neighbor taunting me in the middle of a Dan Cochimilio retirement planning specialist ad. Danny, continue, please.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, basically what I do when people call me, I'm going to try to help them plan for retirement, or for those who may have already retired, looking to protect a portion of their assets. A lot of people are invested in mutual funds or stocks and different things that will earn them, great returns. But with that comes risk. And at times when we have a market downturn, you could lose a lot of your hard-earned assets from your portfolio. And what I do is I protect that portion of those assets that you do never want to have at risk. So I'm going to direct you to products that are going to average you 6 to 7, 8% growth on an annual basis, but there's no downside risk. So if the market does take a real beating and it loses 10, 20, even 30% or more, you're not going to lose any of your money. So it's 100% protected. That's why I named the company Secure Money, because basically your money is secure, and we use top-rated, A-rated companies.
So call 925-628-9966 and just leave your information. Danny will get back to you, and then you can sit down and map out what you want to do with your portfolio for the future, and Dan will have his advice. So check him out today, securemoney.com, 925-628-9966. And he's with us here on the Krug Show. Tonight, let's get your thoughts on tonight, Danny, because I think it's an interesting game. We're, Rise said the line's Warriors by 2. I like that. I might have to call Louis the bookie and see, get me down on Golden State. I like Denver at the beginning of this series, but I just think that it's a bad matchup for the Nuggets. They're fatigued. Golden State can outscore them. Yeah, role players tend to rise up and play a bigger role at home than they do on the road. So maybe Denver gets some offense somewhere I'm not thinking of. But I just think it's a bad matchup. I think Golden State can outscore this team, even if they don't play their A game throughout. And I like Golden State to go up 3-0 tonight. Give me your thought on tonight.
Yeah, I do too. And I think with the veterans of Curry, Thompson, and Green, they've been there before and they're hungry. They've been out of the playoffs for 2 years. They're enjoying being back in. It's kind of almost like a new life. You saw Curry out there. I mean, he was game 2. He was dancing around, jumping around. He was guarding guys just over the half court line. I mean, he was fired up. And I think if they can play with the intensity of a really kind kind of putting the dagger in them tonight, because if they allow Denver back into the series tonight by not playing with great intensity and Denver pulls one out, then you go into game 4 and you've given Denver some momentum. So I think tonight is really the key. If they're going to let up at all in this series, let it be game 4, not tonight.
I just look at this game tonight and think, well, whatever adjustments Malone can make, we're going to see him right here.
Yep.
And whatever effort, but we saw Denver in game 2 start really hot. They started hot. They looked good early, and then Golden State gets on these runs, and Denver just can't match them bucket for bucket. And then Green has done such a phenomenal job at slowing down Jokic at the rim. And it's weird watching Jokic. I almost feel like he's dependent on his surrounding cast, because he's not piling up the assist totals in this series because there isn't that guy who can just knock down shots. So I think Draymond's got Jokic. I think Denver will play well in this game, but Golden State's been winning these games by significant margins. I think they get a nice, comfortable win tonight.
Yeah,
Ryan, what do you think?
I think if you're going to bet on this game tonight, I actually kind of like Denver first half money line. I think the Warriors pull it out, but I think that it's kitchen sink. It's kitchen sink. We saw it in the Raptors Philly game. Toronto jumped out to a big lead, and Philly was able to claw back in the second half. And I mean, we all know the Warriors are a third quarter team, so. I think they pull it out. It really is it's all gonna depend on, if there's some kind of officiating BS and Draymond gets a couple quick ones at the beginning and Looney, then we're in for a little bit of, we're gonna be in for a tight one. But other than that, I think we'll eventually make the run like they have been doing.
That's a good point on the officiating, because I fully expect Joker to get the calls early on, because they're gonna. The key tonight, I would like to see them, what they were doing in games 1 and 2 really was tiring Jokic out by just running up and down the court. Draymond creating the pace off of, what is he doing? Is he blowing in your room there too? Is he?
Can you guys hear that? I mean, seriously, we've been feuding for years, and Daniel Kim, who has the leaf blower, my freaking neighbor.
I think he's a Mets fan that jumped in the chat.
He's got a blower, he's got a sander. He look at that. I mean, it sounds like he's sitting in my lap right now. I mean.
Oh my!
And Jay Hutch says, "What did you do to this guy?" All right, so this is what happened. The kids were kind of young, and all of a sudden, he gets a pit bull, right? He gets a pit bull, and he doesn't have a front yard. He doesn't have a backyard, and so I said to him, I go, man. So his pit bull started charging out at us a couple times, and I said, hey man, you don't have a front yard. You might want to keep your pit bull on a leash. I've got like 4 kids under 7, running around here. And, we kind of went back and forth. And eventually I explained to him that if his pit bull ate my kid, that I don't own his house as well as my house. And believe it or not, like within a week, he had a boxer. So he switched from a pit bull to a boxer. So unfortunately that, little back and forth where I didn't approve of the pit bull, and maybe applied a little pressure, through. I didn't threaten him or anything, but I just was like, I could own your condo if your pit bull attacks me. Just the idea of that, he relented, got the boxer. But we haven't spoken, and it's been 20 years.
He's got YouTube notifications on to know when to fire up the blower.
we're like 2 ships that pass in the night. You know what I mean? It's like if we're taking out our garbage cans at the same time, he doesn't say anything to me. I don't say anything to him.
He's really following you if he starts doing the leaf blower after a night home game, and he's out there at 10 o'clock blow in his yard.
So now, and I would like to say, it's a funny thing, but it's not funny. And it's, what can I say? My neighbor. It's funny when I was doing a Stanford pregame show and a guy rolled by and he put his fist in the air. He's like, Krug, love the show, bro. And I'm like, thanks, man. He rolled by. And then all of a sudden I see him go like about 50 yards and then he doubles back. And then he comes back and he goes, Krug. And I go, what? He's like, man, that neighbor of yours is really a piece of work. I'm like, so needless to say, my neighbor, what can I say? We're no longer friends, but look, wait a second. I think he's put the blower away, sort of.
Larry, we might have to use the phone line, since we haven't been getting many calls, but we have it. Maybe we hit him with a little prank phone call one of these days.
Yeah, get just anything to get him to stop blowing the leaves. Yeah. So he sees my broadcast line hook up, and then all of a sudden it's a work day. So what can I say? Danny, you're not the kind of guy who would ever feud with anybody. You seem like a guy has no feuds.
I try not to.
You try not to. Ryan, do you have anybody that you're currently feuding with, Ryan?
Oh no, I'm really not confrontational. Like actually, our neighbor, he kind of a really nice guy, but once a month, he'll have like a couple girls over, and there will be like electronic music blasting into our like apartment like through the night. I'm talking to like 6 a.m. and my girlfriend, it always wakes her up, never wakes me up, but she's always like, you got to go over and say something or text them, and I'm just like, I don't want what you have, Larry. I don't want that awkward like
two ships that pass in the night. Daniel Kim says Neighbors Part 1 and Part 2 were good movies starring Seth Rogen and Zac Efron. Did you guys see Neighbors at all?
Oh, it's a great movie.
Is it? I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's awesome. It's great.
Danny,
man.
So we're feeling good about we just put Ryan in the big box. We're feeling good. The three of us are. Whoa, hey now. We're feeling good about tonight, though. We're feeling good about Warriors tonight.
I think so. I think it's all going to come down to execution, shooting. If they have an off night shooting, that's when they seem to struggle. But you got three guys, really four guys, and plus Porter. I mean, you got Wiggins and Porter plus the big three that can all drain the three. And so it'd be kind of difficult to have all those guys off. And the way they move the ball around, they're getting open shots. And that's the key is Denver doesn't have enough horses to keep up with them. I mean, with Murray out and what's the other one that's
Michael Porter.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. Yeah,
the big forward. Yeah. So with those guys out, they're really kind of shorthanded. And like I said, if they just keep running it up and down the court, Jokic isn't built to be able to run at that pace for 40 plus minutes.
Just keep running. I think we've got a guest.
We got a guest.
We've got someone from the chat.
Oh,
Jay.
Nice.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on? Who are you?
My name is Josh Hutchinson.
What's your social?
Oh, you're J Hutch 91.
Yeah, I'm J Hutch 91. Yeah.
All right.
What's up, man? How are you? We were just talking earlier today.
Yeah,
What's going on? I like that Giants
hat
hat with the orange lid. That was like my first Giants hat from like 1979.
Yeah,
had the orange lid.
I always love the orange bill. I think it always looks the best.
They wear it on is it Saturday night, Danny? They wear the orange lid.
Friday, I think, isn't it Orange Friday?
Well, they wore Orange Friday, but I thought on Saturday they wear the black jerseys with the orange lids.
Used to be Saturday they wear the black. Yeah, they do the orange on Friday nights and the black jerseys with the orange lids on Saturday.
I love Orange Friday. Orange Friday is fun. So Jay Hutch, what's on your mind, man? What's on your mind how much of the game did you get a chance to see today, Giants Mets?
I mostly just caught up on the Twitter updates and seeing the highlights and hearing from what you guys talk. But I think overall the general series went pretty well. I mean, when you think about them playing the Mets and the Mets being one of the better teams in the league right now, especially with Scherzer. I mean, I felt like
Scherzer looked awesome the other
he did.
night. Game
Yeah, he
2 of
did.
that doubleheader. He
Talking to
was
himself.
dialed in. You could tell early on, man. It was like, whoa.
I think they could have easily won game 1 and 2. I feel like it was, it was there, and they just missed one hit there, one missed pitch there. It was definitely tighten it, and they came back yesterday and they at least got, one win. It was a good win too. It was a very good win. And today they just didn't have it. They just didn't have it, but it didn't look bad. I mean, they scored 2 runs. Disco still went 5 innings. It wasn't like he got knocked out in the second or anything. So I think
the Mets are one of the better teams they're going to play, right? I mean, it's funny. It's like you can sit there and be like, oh man, they didn't win this series. First of all, this is the first series of the year they haven't won.
It's
and
the
then
first
look at the
regular series lost since Atlanta of last year, and I actually went to the one game that they won.
Okay, so that's how you remember.
I live in the Nashville, Tennessee area now. Moved out of the Bay 2 years ago, and my wife said, "Hey, for your birthday, why don't we go drive down to Atlanta? It's like 3.5 hours." I was like, "Oh shoot! Actually, that ballpark is beautiful. By the way, they have the little Hank Aaron little homage thing, there.
Yeah,
it's absolutely beautiful. If anyone here is listening and haven't gone to Atlanta yet, you should definitely see their new ballpark. Their whole outside everything around the ballpark, it's a complete vibe. It's like it's kind of like Third and King a little bit, but really amped up.
Really? Yeah. Very cool. I love downtown Nashville, by the way. Is Nashville going to get a big league team?
I literally just saw an article yesterday that a former A's pitcher is really trying to get an MLB team into Nashville. And
I love my team. I went to Nashville a couple times, and I just love that downtown, man. It's really cool.
Downtown is really nice.
It's nice.
It's what they call East Nashville. It's not really East Nashville, but it's like downtown and a little east north. But
who's their AAA team there? They got
the
Josh?
Sounds.
Who they affiliated with?
Who they affiliated with?
I don't know. I've only been here a couple of years.
Right, look that up. See if you can look that up.
Going on. Haven't really been go to a game yet. I mean, I think we actually plan to go in May. I think we have tickets to go to the first game there in May.
Brewers. Yeah. By the way, King Tones on the text line says Oakland A's to Nashville. That sounds like A's maybe headed to Vegas. I don't know if you saw the A's attendance last night.
Oh, it was what, 27 something?
Oh my! It was smaller than multiple family reunions. I mean, it was like there's more people in this chat than were at that game. I mean,
are they playing today at home? This afternoon game?
I don't know, but Danny, I saw
something on Twitter.
Dude, I saw the attendance picture today, and I retweeted it. If you follow me on Twitter at SportsLarryK, check the picture of the ballpark from last night.
Yeah, you can count them. You could count the people.
It was. I don't know that I've ever seen that. I don't know that I've ever seen that. They're gonna have a game this year where they draw hundreds, literally hundreds of people.
It's really sad because you look at the players that they just even traded already this year, not let alone all the ones over the years. But going into the season, I mean, they're a playoff team, a contender, definite playoff contender, especially with the extra wild card. I mean, they had
they just quit. They just quit on it.
Yeah,
they're just trying. It's major. It's literally Major League the movie. Let's make our team crappy so we can cry poor mouth, so we can move the team, and there won't be any hue and cry. It's a sad thing. The fans have been beaten down
about this, by the
way.
Ahead. So I feel like the A's and the Yankees, some ownership, some big dog in both organizations made a deal saying, "Hey, A's, you're going to be the farm system for the Yankees."
Yeah.
And it happened for 20 years. Then it trickled up and opened up to more baseball. And now John Fisher is just like, boom, gone. Boom. You want him? He's gone. Boom, him. Like, they're making.
I'd like to pull up to their drive-through right now as a Giants fan and just be like, "Excuse me, I'll take a Frankie Montas and a Ramon Laureano to go."
Yes.
And can you supersize that? Yes, I'd like fries.
I'll make money. It's crazy that that organization makes so much talent, and I feel for Billy Beane, man. I really wish.
No,
Billy
don't
Beane
feel
could
for
be
Billy
the owner.
Beane. He's part of the problem at this point. He took the
I
money and
guess
ran.
so, yeah.
He's an owner. He cashed out and he lost his competitive fire. He sold out for a few bucks. The only reason he's not going crazy right now is because he's part of the ownership group and he's getting a cut. That's the problem here, is
I
that
wish
Billy
he
had
could
the
take full
dream, and then
ownership.
they paid Billy hush money to to not say anything by giving him a piece of the team. So now he's all in cahoots.
Yeah.
So now the whole thing, the jokes on the people buying the tickets, and the fans finally realize it. And it's sad because I mean, I'm a Giants fan, but you know what? I know lots of great A's fans, and they're dying with this. And you think about it. What's the problem? Is the problem the stadium? Yeah, I guess you could say the immediate problem is the stadium, but the real problem is the ownership. If tomorrow the Oakland A's were sold by John Fisher to Joe Lacob, A's fans everywhere would jump up and down, and would be like someone saved our franchise. And is it good for baseball to abandon the Bay Area market for Vegas? I mean, that's as stupid as the NBA abandoning Seattle for OKC. It's just short. That was a Clay Bennett, David Stern handshake backroom deal. And what's going on right now is ridiculous. The A's are, baseball should step in and force a sale here before they allow them to abandon one of the more, one of the more important and lucrative markets in the country.
It's been like 5 years too late. They should have done it 5 years ago.
I think also another thing that put a little snag in this move to Vegas is I'm hearing a lot of, sorry for my dog in the background. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about an NBA expansion to Vegas. 2 more teams in the NBA. And all of a sudden, I think that Vegas is looking at, well, I mean, the A's thing seemed cool, but if we could get an NBA team, like that's where their focus is going to be. And so it's making a little tricky on the A's.
Madness is there.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard,
already a proven commodity in Vegas.
Yeah,
huge for them.
I've heard rumors like, what's LeBron going to do next? I could see him taking like a part ownership.
LeBron's going to go wherever the money is.
Well, could you see him taking a part ownership in like a expansion team to Vegas, and maybe that's where he finishes his career, something like that?
What do you guys think of King Tone's here? He says, what has Billy Beane done or accomplished? Danny, what do you think?
To pay him, to play him.
Well, he accomplished quite a bit with a really low payroll for years. I mean, they were
he's never won.
Team.
I mean, he's
never won anything, never got to the World Series, but there was some pretty good, exciting A's teams. And they probably could have kept it going longer had they not traded everybody away. But he definitely drafted good. I mean, look at all those guys that they've developed and have gone on to other teams. There are ex-A's all over the major leagues that were, sometimes you hear, oh, he played for the A's? I didn't realize that. Wow, he's a good player.
Even if it's just for like a half a season.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty tough to win with their payroll and stay competitive with the Yankees. What's that?
What's their payroll at right now?
They're at about 30 to 33 million right now.
There's guys with an owner that's worth $4 billion or $3 billion. I mean, that's the other part of this. And they're back on the Major League Baseball welfare. They got kicked off for a few years, and that's what led to the urgency to unearth Vegas and explore that, is they got kicked off welfare. If Major League Baseball had just allowed them to sit in the corner of the room and continue to own their franchise, go through the motions, carve themselves out a $10 to $15 million annual profit and lose, they would have done it. The only thing that has brought this to a head is baseball kicked them off the dole, and now they had to go, potentially fend for themselves. Now they're back on. So it's an ugly situation. And then the fact that, an executive for the A's, Dave Kaval, has been on the road, just, being wined and dined at different times of the year in Las Vegas. And if you're an A's fan, you're sickened by that. You're sitting there going, wait,
just moved,
and you're going to cry poor mouth, while Danny was totally right. They had a competitive team. They traded away Evans or Olsen. They traded away Chapman, gave away Manaea. They didn't even get premier guys in some of these trades.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Larry. Are you surprised with Farhan's relationship with Billy and being in Oakland, getting his start there, that he didn't take a shot at trying to maybe add Chapman or Manaea? I mean, could you imagine?
This is all because of the A's. I mean, I've talked to Farhan about it. He'd love to make a deal with the Giants or make a deal with the A's, but they see the game similarly. And Billy doesn't want to trade with the Giants because he knows it's a PR nightmare and that his owners and his hardest of hardcore fans will be upset, and then it'll be extra painful. And trading their stars across the bay is like the fastest way in his mind.
I mean, they'd lose fans faster than they are right now if they did that.
Yeah, I mean, they would lose whatever fans they currently have. I think they're afraid of that. But look how many fans they have. As I said,
that seems
for the most part.
That seems to be the goal. That seems to be the goal, though. I mean, they're not. They raised prices dramatically last fall.
I just don't think Billy wants to have his fingerprints on it by making the Giants. I mean, the A's are rooting for two things. They're rooting for themselves to get to Vegas, and they're rooting for the Giants to not win the World Series.
Right.
That's that, and believe when you say, "Oh, Krug, come on, that's too petty." No, that's the truth. That is the truth.
When you think about it, too, when the Giants were winning the World Series, the A's were a lot more competitive then, too. Like they were seeming like they were trying past since 2016, when the Giants were in the playoffs and dropped. It's just been.
Here's this one from King Tones. Billy Bean did a Moneyball movie. Oh, great. Well, let me ask you this. That's kind of interesting. Who's got, if you said Billy Bean, like my wife's not a sports fan. If I said Brian Sabian, she probably knows him, but just because I talk about him and that kind of thing. But if I said any other GM, Dayton Moore or around the, no idea who he is. But if I said Billy Bean, she knows who he is. Who would you say has had whose career is more successful? Billy Bean is known globally, and he's had a Brad Pitt play him in a major motion picture, and he's got ownership of the team, and he's made a lot of money. And he's done pretty well. He still has respect of his peers around the sport. Sabian, on the other hand, didn't have a movie made about him, doesn't have that kind of name recognition globally. May even have made less money because he never got a piece of the Giants. He just was a salaried employee, but he's got the 3 rings. Who's had the better career?
I think he had a little. Also, I'm pretty sure he had a little cameo in Moneyball. Somebody, pretty sure
that was just his voice.
Yeah, it's Billy Bean's
voice on the phone.
Well, if you want to go in terms of
who's had the better career, Bean or Sabes?
If you want to look at pure baseball aspects, it's from a purist standpoint, it's definitely Sabes. If you want to look at it in terms of worldly finance and fame, look to Billy Bean for that.
It just depends on who you ask.
Danny, which financial portfolio would you prefer to manage between Sabes and Bean?
Well, if you're going to look at it that way, I'll have Billy give me a call.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Fun stuff today. Giants, of course, lose, but they win 3 out of 4. Jay Hutch, before we say goodbye to you, you have a final thought, and we really appreciated talking to you earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of any fan of our show who sees the vision. And
I see the vision, man.
You absolutely see the vision, and it was awesome to talk to you. And I can't, first of all, you said some very nice things about me personally and about my career. So I just want to thank you for that face to face. But
I just want to say on air, you and Gary, like you were the only person I feel like who's ever walked in the KNBR was like, that is the person to pair with Gary Ratnich. Like
we had a lot of fun.
You had a lot of fun, and you handled his craziness, and you didn't back down from him.
No, well, come on, I don't. You know me, I don't back down. I don't back down.
I do want to show
I'm like
you guys
Tom Petty over here. I don't back down.
Memorabilia here.
This is my Gary right there. Bye bye, Salinas. That's an honor. G-Rad, that's for you, baby. Bye bye, Salinas.
I
love that line.
I got a Bobby and Barry signed baseball together.
Really? Very cool.
And With the
certificate of authenticity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at you.
My
Where
father,
exactly?
my
where
father
exactly in your?
gave it to me. I
More
couldn't
importantly,
believe it.
where
I was
exactly in
falling
your
apart.
house do you have that?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just joking. Do you have Bay Alarm? No.
Oh no, I do not have Bay Alarm.
Have you heard of ADT? All right, no.
Yes, I have ADT.
Okay. Just making sure. Hey, Jay Hutch, we really appreciate the love and the support, but we'll let you go, man. Thanks for stopping by, and make sure you catch us on any of our other live streams. We'd love to rap with you, going forward, and tell everybody, call into the Krug show after Warriors basketball, after Giants baseball, after Niner football, or just anytime we're live streaming. We love talking with the fans, man.
Bay Area, be a part of this, man. This is gonna grow. This is gonna grow. This is the future right here.
Jay Hutch, out. There we go. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks to Jay Hutch.
Hey, I got a guest for you, Larry. You need to get on.
Who's that?
You got to get Scotty Farrell. Hey, Larry, how you doing?
Give me a cold one. Scotty, I can I tell you my Pharrell story? So
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, Scotty was on KMBR. Scotty, the great DC, Darren Chan was his producer. We were all in New Orleans at the NAB convention, and they're having this party in this sky suite in the French Quarter of Pat O'Brien's. Okay, there's this like a little building up top, and it was like this private Westwood One party. And I knew DC, and DC like waved me up, so I got to go up. So now, and it was pretty exclusive party, and we had one guy in our group, and we couldn't, I couldn't get him up, and he badly wanted to come up to this party, and we're all on this balcony. Oh, there we go. Somebody's calling in, and the guy couldn't get in, but this party was incredible. Booze, catered, most incredible party in New Orleans. Unbelievable food. Scotty doing his show on Westwood One, DC on the controls. 1994 NAB. Great time. A lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot of unbelievable. If there's a town to cut loose for 3 or 4 days and have some incredible food and drink, man, it is New Orleans, Louisiana. Danny, you spent any time in New Orleans? I
used to live down there.
Did you?
Yeah. I lived right over the Causeway Bridge in a place called what the heck was that?
Slidell?
No, I just for Mandeville. Mandeville.
Okay.
Yeah, I was down there for just under a year. I was corporate. That was when I was working in the corporate world, and was managing a sales team down there in the health insurance field.
Nice. Have you ever been to the restaurant Cochon? You ever been to Cochon?
No, haven't been to that one.
But, I think it means pig in French. It's a phenomenal restaurant. We went there. If you ever go to Cochon in New Orleans, order the fried alligator.
Oh.
Fried alligator. It's like chicken nuggets, but they're even better.
Yeah.
Better than
alligator. That reminds me.
Alligator?
No, but I did go hunting for alligator on a tour with a guy in his little boat. It was hilarious. We're in this, just my son and I, and this guy on the boat. And
right. How do you kill him? Spear?
Well, he had a gun. He had a gun with him, and then he was God. And he's driving around in his little boat. We're looking for these alligators, and we never saw any that day. But we did have a water moccasin coming right at the boat trying to get in. And so I'm like, oh man, what's going to happen? So he starts, pulls out his, I don't know what revolver gauge it was, but he's shooting in the water, and then he hits the thing and it goes up on the bank. And the dude it's like, I felt like I was back in Deliverance. A guy jumps off the boat, runs back into the woods, and he bang, all of a sudden you hear this, and he walks out carrying this water moccasin, and he takes it on the boat, and that thing stunk so bad the rest of the trip. It was on the man. But that was hilarious. Hey, you guys want to meet Buster, my lab?
Yeah, let's see him.
Hey, Buster, come here.
Is he named after Posey?
He is. Yeah, Buster.
Is
I
your
got-
lab going to the Hall of Fame? Do you see Russo said that he thinks Buster's borderline Hall of Famer?
God, screw
Let me see if I
Russo.
can
Russo, come on, bro.
I like watching Russo on First Take just because he looks like the Walmart generic version of Skip Bayless, or like somebody that's playing Skip Bayless in the Stephen A. Smith Skip Bayless movie.
There's Buster.
Russo. Hey, it's a
There's
good looking dog.
Watch this treat. I got a little treat here. Sit, Buster. Sit. All right. Leave it. You see that on there? Leave it.
Look at that face.
Oh, he's
Awesome
salivating.
He's thinking, how long will we do that?
Yeah. How long can we
wait
go?
a second. Let's take wagers on this. I would say Buster will eat that within 30 seconds.
No, he won't. He won't eat it until I tell him to.
Really?
Yep.
No.
But he's salivating. Yeah.
He just licked his lips.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it. Will he look down at it, or is he? Right now, he's not looking down.
He's waiting for the command.
Is he look at you? That is a wonderful dog. Wait a second. Wait. He's looking down though.
Yeah, he's looking
down. He wants it. He's saying, Danny never makes me wait this long.
I've made him wait a minute before. But
all right, tell him it's okay. Tell him it's okay.
All right, go ahead, take it.
Wow, that is a miracle dog.
That's Buster.
How old's Buster?
Buster he'll be 5 May 5th.
He's a beaut.
Yeah.
Where'd you get him?
I got him up in Salinas area.
Bye, Salinas. We got our golden retriever, though. Man, my golden retriever the other night, I don't know what she ate. She just could not get comfortable all night, like all freaking night. And I'm taking her out and I'm letting her go. I took her out. I'm walking her at 1:30 in the morning. Walking around.
Wow. Golden retriever? You said golden retriever?
Golden retriever, yeah.
I've had 2 of them. I had one that freaked out over fireworks or lightning or anything.
Yeah.
And was outside at the time and tried to get in and broke the window twice, 2 different occasions. Just freaked out. Just couldn't handle it. But they're great dogs.
They are great dogs. She's a great dog. It's just it wasn't her night. King Tone says get Mad Dog Russo on the show, please. Eric Burns too. What time? What lousy time?
Yeah, Mad Dog. I used to call into Mad Dog when I lived in Connecticut. Him and the Mike
Francesca
and Mad Dog show. It was like exactly.
And they just go on and on and on and on and on. Oh man,
they're hilarious when they were on the air, man.
How about the marquee? Did you ever see him do the marquee for the Super Bowl week during, trying to get Super Bowl trivia? The marquee. My God, I've never seen anybody take their trivia more serious than Russo.
Oh boy, he never. He boy in the 2002 when they lost that World Series. I was back in Connecticut at the time, living back there. And man, he took that hard.
We all did. You kidding me?
I know we all did, but Francesca wouldn't let him. Just kept giving it to him because the Yankees made it that year. I think.
No, they made it. They had lost in 01.
No, I mean they lost
03. They won.
Yeah,
it was. They lost in 03 to the Marlins.
To Florida. Yeah, it was 03 that it looked like it was going to be the Giants Yankees, and it didn't work out. But oh boy,
I'd love to see Giants Yankees. Pay them back for 62.
Absolutely.
Pay them back for what, 51, I guess?
Yeah, Willie Mack's
line drive
shot at second base. Yeah, geez. Just a few more inches to one side or the other, and the Giants win the World Series on a walk-off.
Danny, it's funny. All that Giant lore gets washed away with 10, 12, and 14. Isn't that beautiful?
It does.
It's beautiful.
It definitely
It's like 02 didn't hurt anymore after 10, 12, and 14.
Yeah.
That we should do that sometime. Greatest sports pain. Like what team and what sport brought you the most pain? Actual pain. Because I would say 02 Giants 5-0 lead in game 6, and you can't put it away. And
That was the most pain.
That one hurt. Or how about
That
the
one
Niners?
hurt.
How about the Niners on the goal line? Frank Gore gets down to 1st and goal on the 5 against the Ravens in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
47. Or was it 47? Yeah, 47.
Yeah.
Super
Kyle
Bowl
Williams.
47 in the Big Easy. Should
Kyle
have ended
Williams.
on Kyle Williams in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
That was a
that was
gag.
what was that, 12, I think? And the one that it hurt, but for some reason it didn't hurt as much because when Roger Craig fumbled against the Giants and they were going to do a three-peat.
Oh, that hurt. I thought
it
that
hurt.
hurt.
It hurt, but I remember Desert Storm had just started the day before or something like that, and back then it was just like such a big deal that we were going to war and
General
hey,
Schwarzkopf.
now my leaf blower's here. Hey,
probably my neighbor finding out where you live. He's over there. I'll harass Danny now.
But that would have been something that they had that game. I mean, they were gonna, and then that field goal to walk it off of the Giants. They march it all the way down, and then was it Matt Bryant? Who was that kicked it?
Matt Barr.
Matt Barr. Okay. Gosh,
Matt
it's like
Barr.
watch that thing sail through. That
Parcells
would be a good show
on the field. That was a great Giant team. And you know what? That's actually the what if questions. That's one of them I have. It's like, what if the Niners won that game? What if Matt Barr misses that field goal? What would have happened in that Super Bowl? Because Joe Montana wouldn't have played in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, it would have been.
Steve Young against Jim Kelly in the Buffalo Bills. And I don't know. I mean, it's funny. I've asked Steve that. He's like, we would have won. And I'm like, well, of course, Steve's going to say that. But Steve had his own trials and tribulations as a Niner in the playoffs. And who knows if he was ready to play at the level that it was going to take to beat Buffalo that day. That was a great Buffalo team. People forget. Everybody focuses on the fact that Bills team lost 3 Super Bowls in a row, and they don't focus.
They lost 4. They lost 4 in a row. Yeah.
Was it 4 in a row?
4
in a
3. Row. Yeah. No, it was 2 to. It was the Giants. And then
Washington.
And 2 to Dallas.
You're right. 4 in a row. You're right. It went and the first one was to the Giants on the Norwood missed field goal. But that Buffalo team was awesome, and that Buffalo team. I mean, that was a tremendous upset, and that was a tremendous game plan for the Giants to run O.J. Anderson and Otis Anderson in that game and control the clock and keep Buffalo's high-powered offense on the sideline. And they still, New York barely escaped because of a missed field goal. But I don't know for sure if the Niners would have beaten Buffalo that day with Steve Young. I don't know. I mean, I want to give Steve the benefit of the doubt, but you know what I'm saying? That's a much tougher call than I think, everybody always acted like, Roger Craig cost them the Super Bowl. Well, pump the brakes there. You still had to beat the Buffalo Bills with your second quarterback, and your quarterback hadn't played all year. So, that you're going to win the Super Bowl with a guy who hasn't played all year. I don't know. Nobody's done that before or since. So I don't know. Maybe it would have been a little bit more difficult than we like to think.
The Seattle NFC Championship, I think that one's a little safer to say the Niners would have won.
Which one?
The year when the Seahawks ended up blowing out Denver when we played the Seahawks, and it was everybody was saying, that was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was the one with Crabtree, right? Where Sherman in the end zone with
supposedly Crabtree said good game at the end there, but you don't get in somebody's face after you just beat them. If you get in somebody's face after you just beat them, they're not going to assume the best. They're going to assume the worst, right? And he got right in Crabtree's face right after they beat him. That was a bad look, I thought. Now he went and, whatever. It wasn't the end of the world, but,
Hey, how about speaking
weak,
of Richard Sherman, he had it in with some of the Niners. How about the one when Trent Williams cold cocked him in the pregame? Was it pregame or post? I think it was a pregame. Do you remember that when Williams was Washington? Look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'll
tell you the other
Sherman's
moment.
Like, man, he just hit me in the face. He just hit me in the face.
The other one that was real memorable was Richard Sherman eating turkey on the 50 on Thanksgiving. Remember that? at Levi's. Man, there were Niner
Yeah.
fans they were Niner fans calling the postgame show for like years after that. And Sherman, he ate turkey on the 50. It was like it was seriously, it was like the fact that this guy ate a little bit of turkey as a part of like a little TV promotion. I mean, it stuck with people. I mean, you would have thought,
Yeah.
he robbed a bank or something. He ate turkey on the 50. It's like, whoa. Are we that big on our turkey? I mean, seriously.
But then we're the same fans that are like, oh, Harbaugh did nothing wrong with that, the Lions handshake.
Yeah.
Well, focusing on talking Niners, it's going to be interesting over the next week. When's the draft? A week from today?
Thursday.
Tomorrow?
Week from today.
Thursday. Yeah. So we'll see what happens if they get any good offers for Debo, what they'll do with them.
Supposedly they are already getting good offers and they don't want to move them.
Yeah. I mean,
they were saying that they. Oh, sorry. I was watching. The Herd this morning, and some guy came on and said the latest is that the Jets seem like they're a little bit open to it, but apparently that the Niners are asking for more than the Dolphins got for Tyreek Hill.
Oh, King's ransom, I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a better situation. It's not the same situation. The Niners are in a better cap situation than Kansas City was, and Debo's a better guy than Tyreek Hill was. So, I mean, he's a younger player. Has a cleaner off-field resume than Tyreek had. And he's cheap this year. If you want him to be cheap this year, technically $4 million, I think, is his cap hit. And they don't really have to do anything, I guess.
No, because they can franchise tag him next year if they wanted, but they can keep him for the next 2 years.
To me, it doesn't seem viable just from the standpoint of you're going to franchise tag him, pay him premier dollars, and then every time you want to use him as a runner, he looks at you cross-eyed. I don't know.
Yeah, I personally, I would, if he's just going to play receiver. I mean, I love Debo. He's a gamer. He's a stud. But watching him take all those hits, he's had some injury issues over the years. And if you could get a top 15 pick for him and maybe a second, get two top players or picks, and really pick up a true bona fide receiver with a low cap for the next 5 years. And
you just got to hit. You just got to hit. Tommy Huxley is making a donation here. He says, you want Debo? The price is 4 firsts.
No way.
Tommy, 4 firsts.
No way.
Tommy.
Also, the chat, it looks like people are they want a little more Giants Mets talk just to round out the show, I think.
Well,
we did talk about it a lot at the start of the show. We can finish up talking a little Giants Mets. I'll give you my Giants 2 seconds of an opinion on them. They're rolling. They're playing great, but they don't have quite the depth that they've had. And there's going to be days where they don't look like a lot offensively. So that's kind of what I see. I see a rotation that's better, and I see a bullpen that's deeper. And I see defense that is going to be probably as good, especially when everybody's healthy. But offensively, you lost Chris Bryant, Buster Posey, Donnie Solano, and you added Jock Peterson. So, and
I have a question for both of you. Do you think
they need more? I think they're a bat short.
Yeah. Over under 1 or so, I guess 0.5. Over under 0.5 hitters on the Giants finishing this year hitting 290 or better.
0.5?
Yeah, so like 1 or 0, basically.
1 or 0 hitting over 290?
Yeah.
How many minimum at bats?
Minimum, yeah.
I would say, looking at this lineup, let me go through it real quick.
I would say the only one,
I'll say 0.
0, yeah.
Wow, Danny, not a lot of confidence in.
Coach
Emilio right there.
Belt's been carrying us, and he's now hitting 256.
It's so early. I mean, at this point, your batting average, drops pretty precipitously, and then goes up pretty quickly if you get a couple of hits. I mean, look at Yaz. What's he batting now? 2-something.
231.
231. What was he like 3 days ago? 150.
Yeah, something like that, like 170.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I
We got
mean,
this one. People are saying, why didn't the Giants sign Seiya Suzuki? They wanted him.
because the Cubs did.
Yeah. They wanted him.
They wanted him. Yeah, they wanted
They
him.
wanted him. And supposedly they were really after him. So this one from Robert, he says, don't forget about Longoria and Lamont Wade Jr.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
they'll be
guys are going
coming
to
back.
add a lot. Even though I think Longoria, he's tailing toward the end of his career, but if he's healthy, he can give you, 15 to 20 knocks, and by the time he gets ready to play, and he's a presence in the lineup if he's healthy. If he was hitting the ball with authority before he got hit in the hand last year, and before he got his that collision with Crawford at shortstop is what really derailed him. But he was hitting well, and so if he comes back fully healthy, he's a presence. He's a much better defender than what they throw out there when they got Flores down there. This allows them to put Flores either at the DH or come off at the bench as a pinch hitter. Having Wade and LaStella, it just deepens the lineup. That's the problem right now. They don't have any depth. Last year, look at all the pinch hit home runs they did last year, and just guys come off the bench and would get a key hit. You're not seeing that early on right now, and you're not seeing them.
They're a little thinner. They're a little thinner offensively. I would say look for a midseason trade, maybe a couple, and I think they'll be there. I think they're going to win 90 plus games. I don't think they're going to win the division this year, but I think they'll win 90 plus games. I think they'll be in October, and I think they'll make a couple additions. They're a very rich club. And when I say that, I mean they have money. If they find somebody, if Josh Bell, I could see Josh Bell. This series, in this series, take a look at two guys, Josh Bell, and is Strasburg. What's Strasburg's status? Because eventually they're saying they may trade him in July. So I want to see what the Nationals have in this series for July trades, because the Nationals are one of the worst teams in the National League, and there's a very good chance they're going to offload some players at the deadline. I think Kansas City might be a good trade partner for the Giants as well. They've got some pieces. Whit Merrifield is versatile. I mentioned Andrew Benintendi earlier this week as a guy. I think the Giants will be active. I really do. I think Farhan will make moves, and that they're in a great spot. They got prospects to trade. I think they got prospects to promote.
Let me throw this out.
Yeah,
Let me throw this out there at you. This is a wild thought, but would you trade Luciano, Ramos, and Kyle Harrison for Juan Soto?
Did you hear that? Did you hear the snap? That's how fast I would make that trade. Say it again. Would I do what?
Luciano, Ramos, and Kyle Harrison for Juan Soto.
That's how fast I made that trade. Trade's made.
I love Juan Soto.
Love Luciano. Love Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison went to high school a block from here.
De La Salle,
goodbye.
Yep. Yeah, Juan Soto's a top 5 player.
Luciano, Harrison, Ramos. Goodbye. Juan Soto. Are you kidding me? Yes. I would make that trade in a nanosecond. Absolutely, I'm making that trade.
What if they Washington said another?
They want Dan Cochimilio. I see no.
They want Matos too.
Don't get greedy, Rizzo. Don't get greedy. Rye, what do you think?
I'd 100% do it. It's just so frustrating looking. I'm sorry, but I just vent a little bit. So, the Yankees have done this for years, but it seems like the Dodgers have really become the evil empire. And it just seems like, the Dodgers want Trey Turner. Okay, let's just throw a few rando prospects that probably won't turn into anything. And now we have Trey Turner and Corey Seager like last year. You know what I mean? Like it seems like they give up almost nothing.
I know.
It's almost like what's going on here? Like seriously. Like,
hey guys,
trade.
We're gonna call it right here, because I've got another live stream with Kyle Posey talking Niners in 30 minutes. But be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Be extra sure to hit the notification bell so you can catch all of the upcoming Krug shows. Love you guys. Having a ton of fun doing this. Thank you to everybody for supporting my channel. If you want to support my channel, support my sponsors. Telmetrics.co, Dan Coach Emilio, Retirement Planning Specialist. Thanks to Len. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to the sponsors. Thanks to the people in the chat. Thanks to Jay Hutch for being part of the show via the video call. That's one of those cool things that we can do now. So we encourage all of you to join us via the video call. Danny, Ryan, until next time, we sign off.
Go Warriors.